Mom hears noises in nursery at night, realizes what dog is doing. Everything was still until Bobby's ears suddenly perked up. He raised his head like a shot and looked towards the window. Soon after, her baby awakens and stands up. Bobby greets him. Her heart races, she can sense something's about to happen. It takes everything she has to stay where she is. She needs to see this for herself. Her baby starts to grow anxious. Then the unthinkable happens. It was an unusual time for Texas mom, Lisa. As a new mom to baby boy Flynn, she had a lot of new challenges that she faced daily. But one of these challenges was something no one saw coming. Lisa also had a dog called Bobby. He was 6 years old and great with a baby. He had always been so gentle, so she had no reason to think he'd act any differently with a baby. But she was wrong. Frantic, she lifted her son off Bobby. He was clinging to him as if his life depended on it. She unclasped his tiny fists, releasing Bobby's fur, and held him close. He was terrified. What was going on? At first she loved that Bobby would always find his way to Flynn's room to sleep at night. It was endearing, but now, it turned into something completely different. It was the third time Lisa woke to strange whimpering noises coming from the nursery in the middle of the night. Concerned, she jumped out of bed and hurried to her son's room. She arrived to see Bobby lying on the floor, looking up at her son. Flynn stood, eyes wide awake in his crib. Besides being awake when they shouldn't, everything seemed fine. But appearances can be deceiving. Reassured, however, she tucked Flynn back to bed and backed out of the room. She was just about to shut the door when she felt a cold breeze drift past her. She turned, surprised to see the window open. She could have sworn she closed it before she put Flynn to bed. Nonetheless, she admitted her mistake and closed it. The following night, she woke again to the same sound. She rushed to the room and found Flynn on the floor with Bobby, holding tightly onto him with his face buried in his fur. Lisa ran over and picked her baby up off Bobby. He was terrified. He had the same wide-eyed look he wore the previous night, only this time it was much worse. And then she saw it. Lisa made sure to close the window before she put Flynn to bed. Now, she saw the same window mysteriously open. The sight made her heart drop. What on earth is happening? She thought as she looked at Bobby, who now stood beside the crib staring up at her. Was it him? Was he the cause of all this? There was only one way to find out. She woke up the next morning and drove straight to the store to buy a baby cam. She raced home and installed it in the corner of the nursery. Although she was eager to find out what her dog was doing, nobody could have prepared her for what she'd find. As she went to bed that night, she held her phone close, watching the baby camera footage with all of her attention. Bobby entered the nursery at the time he usually does. He went straight to the center of the room beside the crib and nestled in for the night. She watched as the hours passed by. Warding off her tiredness by her sheer desperation to find out why her baby gets scared at night and what Bobby gets up to, she kept her eyes glued to the screen. And then it happened. Bobby's ears suddenly perked up and looked towards the window. Soon after, Flynn silently awakens and stands at the edge of the crib, gesturing to Bobby. Bobby walks over to him. She can sense that something is about to happen. Flynn's legs dance from side to side. He's getting anxious about something. Suddenly, Lisa gasps as she looks at the window. She hears the soft growling and strange whimpering noise that's been waking her up for days now. She throws her phone down on the bed and races to the nursery. She finds Bobby pacing between the window and Flynn, jumping up to comfort him before growling towards the window again. Letting out a scream, Lisa makes a dive towards the window. In her panic, she didn't realize her quick movements would startle the intruder. It leaped over Lisa, desperately looking for a way out. Now, it was in the room. Bobby raced to the crib, growling passionately as baby Flynn was halfway over his crib to find refuge in Bobby's fur. Lisa grabbed Flynn and Bobby and raced out the door, closing it behind them. Then she called the authorities. But on who? Or what? An owl had flown into the nursery, but when the authorities arrived to catch it, they told Lisa that it wasn't just any old owl and explained why it might have been so willing to make a home in her son's nursery. So, what was so special about this owl? And why was it so comfortable around homes and know its way around a window lock? Its species don't exist in these areas at all, the authorities said. This is an owl that lives only in the wooded areas of northern Canada. This is an owl that grew up under the watchful eye of humans. They said that it had clearly been taken care of by human hands as it wasn't aggressive at all. Then, they told Lisa that they knew exactly who this beautiful animal belonged to. The owl turned out to be an escapee of the city zoo. They received a notice of a missing owl from the zoo last week that matched his profile completely. Lisa laughed at the clever little creature who had caused her so much worry these past few days. Then she looked at Bobby, full of pride that he knew how to protect her baby when she didn't.